What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be talking about the paper. Now, guys, I'm going to be honest. I didn't like the paper. So if you don't know what the paper is, spoiler alerts ahead. But the paper is essentially kind of off of The Office, and it was released on Peacock. Now, they say when they were coming out with this, oh, the paper isn't a spinoff of The Office. But in my mind, it kind of is. Now, I don't know if I'm the only one thinking that. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. The paper in my mind is just kind of weird because are there some good moments? Yes. But here's my thing, right? For them to say it's not a spinoff of The Office, but then to make numerous references of The Office, is it a spinoff? Because obviously it's set up the same style, like the show The Office, with the camera crew and all that. The paper did surprisingly well with critics. I mean, it got 7 out of 10 on IMDb. It got 85% Rotten Tomatoes, which I was kind of shocked about. I mean, I get the concept and it makes sense, but I just think they could have executed better. For example, if you were never a fan of The Office, or I love The Office, right? Matter of fact, that might be in a top 10 show for me. I don't know. I still need to do that. But if you were a fan of The Office, then you might like the paper. But if you weren't a fan of The Office, then you're definitely not going to like the paper. Does that make sense? Like, I see this as this. Some of the jokes in The Office, for example, are cheesy and could at times even be cringy, might I say. But in my mind, I thought they were kind of funny. Like, even the cheesy, cringy ones were funny. Like, at some points, Michael Scott would make some joke and it would be so awkward that everyone's silent. Like, that, okay, that's kind of funny. So if you were a person who didn't like The Office because of the cringy and cheesy jokes, the paper is that on steroids, if that makes sense. Like, there were a couple jokes that landed that I even chuckled at, like the quiet, awkward silence. But other than that, though, like, it wasn't that great. Like, some of the jokes were forced. And I understand there's only one season out. Like, I guess they got approved for another season, which I'll watch that and give my opinion on that. But I just think it could have been done a little bit better. I like the whole concept. This is about a newspaper failing. And it's the same camera crew. Matter of fact, Oscar from The Office is in the paper. And he makes several references, obviously, about his old boss, which we know who that is, Michael Scott. So that's why I was confused, because at first I was like, oh, sick, Oscar's in this? And he already made a reference about The Office. Cool. But then they make another reference. I'm like, okay. Then another reference. Okay. Like, how many references are we going to make before we're like, oh, this isn't a spinoff, but yet we're going to name drop The Office as much as we can? You know what I mean? Like, in my mind, one or two references, like a little tip hat, cool, all day long. To make it your whole personality, not a huge fan of. Maybe that's just Oscar because he worked for both companies. Like, the beginning of the paper, I thought was really cool. What they did was they send that camera crew back to Dunder Mifflin, to Scranton. They made a little, like, reference, like they went there and Dunder Mifflin was gone. Advanced Refrigeration Unit is like, oh, no, they've been gone for a while. So then they go to Ohio to do the paper instead. That was kind of cool. I'm like, okay, we'll call it there. And then there's Oscar. I'm like, cool. He makes a reference, but then, like I said, they kept boating it. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Do I recommend you watch it? I will say this, if you're a fan of The Office, go watch it and you make your own opinion. If you weren't a fan of The Office, you're not going to like this. That's just my opinion. Sleeky rating, I'm probably going to honestly give it a 6 out of 10, guys. Like, it wasn't solid. Maybe the second season be a little bit better. A little more questions will be left unanswered, right? There'll be more that doesn't make sense. There'll be more questions answered than unanswered in season 2. But yeah, other than that, though, guys, it was okay. I'm glad I watched it, but honestly, at the same time, I feel like I kind of wasted my time a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I'll see ya.